let me hit live on Facebook. Okay, so let's see here if Facebook, yes, Facebook's working. This is all working. Wonderful stuff. All right, and hang on one second, gang, one more thing. So, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning. So, I want to welcome everybody. Now, what I'm going to do is to make sure we have a really good call. I just muted everybody, but here's how you can unmute yourself if you want to ask me a question, and that would be *6. And now when you hit *6 on your keypad, it takes about 10-15 seconds for it to kick in. People that are calling in on their cameras, I'm not sure how to do that. I'm sure there's an icon somewhere to unmute yourself. And there's a messaging that you can message us questions. All right. So we're streaming this on Facebook on our Power group, and so there's all these different ways you guys can call it. So welcome. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And in case I forget, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, to be politically correct with the craziness out there. All right. Now, here's a couple of things. Is that I want to remind you the purpose of these calls, and I want to just welcome people who are new Power Agents. We have Power Agents all over the world calling in. Those of you that called in on an earlier time, I thank you for that. And the first, what we're going to do is go through the website, or talk about the website a little bit. I'm going to share some new things that we're doing. I want to talk about the Power Group on Facebook. We're going to also answer questions. So I want you to start to think about, what do you need help with? Usually you guys are really good at emailing me questions in advance. That didn't happen this month, again, probably because of the holidays. But this is your opportunity to get some one-on-one coaching, something that you need help with. So I really want you to think while you're sitting there. Don't be a voyeur. Participate actively. I like to use the analogy. If you go to a sports game, whether it's baseball, football, or not that I go, but you got the players on the field, and then you have people sitting in the bleachers. Sitting in the bleachers can be pretty exciting, but you're still not participating. You're watching what's happening on the field. So I'm going to invite you to get on the field with me, get out of the bleachers, onto the field, and how you do that is by asking me a question. So think about what you need help with, and when I get to that part of this call, I'll open it up for you. Okay. Let me see. Now, the first thing I want to go over, and for those of you that can't see my screen right now, or you're not on Facebook, I'll just try to communicate it as clearly as possible. So I'm going to the Facebook Power Group, okay, and the name of that group is Power Agent. And, what I've been doing for you to help you in your business, I post things 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for the most part. Once in a while I may miss it, but for the most part I'm pretty good with that. So for example, we posted a link to some videos that Realtor.com has, and these are really good videos that I watch that you can use on listing appointments or sitting with a buyer. Like the headline in the group says, the 5 metros where home ownership has the highest hidden costs. That's something that you can show your buyers, even explain to a homeowner when you're on a listing appointment. Another one, U.S. home sales rise at a fast pace in a decade, causing a surge in prices. And then, so anyway, I'm not going to go through all this. It's all there for you. One of the things people commented, really enjoyed, is I posted on December 1st 30 Facebook Live ideas for real estate. One of the things you may want to consider doing is, I know Tracy, one of our Power Agents that we interviewed, Palmero, she uses Facebook and social media pretty well. And if you have a community or a group that you're a part of, like I live in Shoreham Wading River, and we have a Facebook group called Shoreham Wading River Group. And if I was an agent, I would post periodically some videos to that community, and there's a list of topics that I gave you from this woman. What's her name there? I can't see it, but it doesn't matter. It's there. And I just really love that I gave you that, because I think it's a great marketing tool. There's 30 possible topics of videos, and if you did a video once a week, there's 30 weeks of content for you. So pay attention to this group. Now, there's something else I'm going to teach now. This, what I posted this morning for you was two things. So I'm going to click on one of them now. It says it's a one-page business plan. And let me open that up for you, for those of you that see my computer screen. And for those of you who can't, let me explain. I am not really big into long-winded, that's not the right term, but really complicated business plans. And they don't have to be. You know, business plans, what's important about a business plan is it helps stay focused, and it motivates you and inspires you. And, you know, we're at that time of year where we should, or if we don't already, we need to really lock in what's our plan for 2018. So what I did is I created for you a one-page business plan, and just to go over some of those things. First of all, you want to look at what your personal survival money that you need and what your business survival money need. And here's what I mean by survival money. It's your break-even stuff. So if you were to take, you know, your mortgage payment, your gas, your food, you know, all the stuff that you need to survive personally, how much is that? What's that number? Then you have running your business. So then there's maybe advertising, and there's open houses, or your business cards, your website maintenance, all that stuff. Now, that's just to survive, to run your business, meaning there's no growth in those numbers. So if we look at what those two are, put them together, and then we start to look at our next level money, that would be retirement, paying your income taxes, education, things that you want to do for yourself, like pay off debt or buy an investment property, whatever it is. So the first part of the business plan goes through what's the monies you need in 2018, not just to break even, but to grow your life. Then if you take that, that goes through the very basic process of, all right, if you take your desired income, which is letter A there for those of you that can see it, what's your average commission divided by the number of sales, la, la, la. It's very self-explanatory. It helps you decide how many listings you need to get, how many sales you need to get to hit your goals, okay? Now, did somebody just come off mute that has a question? Nope, okay. Next thing I want to show you, so I uploaded that for you in the Facebook group, and the other thing that I want to show you is, this is really cool. Hi, George. Hi, Julie. I see you guys on Facebook. Thank you very much. The next thing that we created for you and uploaded, I hope I don't have a challenge here, my Excel. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So if you open up the Excel file, it starts with December of next year. But if you click on at the bottom of this Excel file, you'll see tabs. What we also created for you is this monthly goal sheet. Yeah, and so it says January 2018. You can actually write in this, or you can handwrite. So you might say, you know, to lose 10 pounds. I'm typing it so people can see it. Actually, I wrote pounds wrong. Ha ha. And I'm going to increase the font size, and I'm going to give it a number 1 over here. Anyway, let me explain the concept to you about this monthly goal sheet. One of the things that I learned when I first created the Power Program in 1993, what helped agents double their production, they all said the same thing. You know, our average power agent that works the program, they double in 12 months. And it was because they had a year business plan like I just showed you, but really the focus was monthly. And, you know, if you think about what's the advantage of a monthly goal, you know, what's the problem with a year goal? The problem with a year goal is you have a year. You know, usually we'll work on a year goal in month 11. The thing about monthly goals, and it helps, it's more urgent, so there's more of a tendency for you to stay focused on it, to work them. This Excel sheet, so what I recommend you do is every month take 10 minutes and think about what are you committed to accomplishing in the next 30 days. And write that in the spreadsheet, print it out, hang it somewhere that's going to help you stay focused. I love printing out stuff and writing stuff. All right. So those are the couple of gifts that I gave you to help you stay focused, to kick off the new year strong. Now, I have a lot more to give you. Let me just check my notes. Hang on a second. I'm very excited about this. Check this out. For those of you that can see the website on my computer, let me see how I'm going to do this. Be patient with me. You know, gang, when you sign into the classroom section of the Power Agent program and you click on the monthly sessions, I want to show you something. Give me a second here. We have our interview of our Power Agent each month, our magazine. Now, what you'll start seeing here is Julie, who's on the call with us. Julie is my right hand, left hand in helping us really bring everything to a high level. We're starting a blog in this section here, and if you click on something, there'll be an article that you can read with some tips and techniques. So we're now flooding the website with more content to help you. My vision is the Power Program is going to be your resource for all of your stuff. Now, let me click on the magazine. You all know that every month we do the magazine. I want to show you this major change that we're making here. So if I click on this magazine, and this month we had a great agent that we interviewed, Pat Taylor. And if I click through here, there's the transcription of our interview with Pat. I'm almost done, gang, with showing you some of the improvements we're making, and then I'm going to open up the call. All right. Now, after the interview transcription with Pat, you'll see that on page, whatever page I'm up to here, there's letters and there's sample newsletters that you can use. These are all these great forms that you can have, and there's some articles and stuff. But here's what we're doing. So let me click over here. So, some people have said to me, Darryl, you shared something in a magazine that was a flyer that I could show a homeowner. What magazine was that in? And honestly, I can't remember, right? So here's what we're doing starting in January. The magazine is just going to be the Power Agent that we interview. All of these bonus forms and checklists and flyers and scripts and dialogues, we're moving them onto the website of the Power Program. So when you click on Classroom and you see all of the different categories of real estate, like the listing, appointment, building inventory, playing with buyers, I want to show you what we're doing here. This is my computer. Those of you can see it. These are the tabs that are on there we're adding. And I just want to click on listing conversation just so you can see. These are all things that we have been putting in the magazine in the past, and we're not done yet. We're going to put everything on the website for you, so in the category that you need. So when you need something on a FSBO appointment, you'll click there. You'll be able to find it. You'll be able to print it. So we're very excited. Huge undertaking to transfer all these files for you, but I think it's going to make your life so much easier. You're going to love it. All right, now let's go to this. Okay, that's it for the update. Let's open up the calls. So right now, I want to start coaching you on something that you need. So this is your chance to ask me whatever it is you want to ask me. So anybody that has a question, hit *6 on your keypad one time, and that will take you off mute. And just give it about 10 seconds for it to kick in. Just one time, hit *6. So who has a question that wants to ask me something here?
Hi, Darryl. Hi, Darryl. This is Pat Taylor.
Hey, Pat Taylor. How you doing, darling? Pat, everybody, this is Pat, who is featured in our magazine this month. So very glad to have you, Pat. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, but I have something I'd really like to see if you can help me work on.
Sure.
One of the agents that I work with is she's trying to get jump-started with her career. She's a relatively new agent, and we are working on a home buyer seminar that would like to teach. I would love to see, I'm working on a PowerPoint presentation, but I'd love to get any insight from you about how we can make this a success.
Wow, well, first of all, very excited that you're doing that, Pat. To me, now, is this geared towards buyers? I think that's what you said, right?
Yes, it's geared towards buyers, and what we've done is we have written handwritten notes to an entire apartment complex that will be going out on December 30th at the end of the year. And it's all about, time to change your life in 2018.
Yeah.
So from there. So I'm working on, the actual presentation and looking for some ideas.
You know what? Let me. So get ready now. By the way, Pat, are we? Oh, geez, I hope we're recording this. Yeah. Okay, sorry, gang. I thought I pressed the wrong button. I stopped the recording and I just put it back together. All right, Pat. So the reason why I was checking the recording is because if you pay attention, it's now 11:16, right? So we're 16 minutes into this call. If you can write some of this down in case you can't write quick enough, then come back and listen to the recording. We'll post the recording on the website for you. So let me rattle off a bunch of ideas. One of them, let me go to, I want to show you something. I'm going to a website, everybody, called listingworkshop.com. And by the way, any people in the tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, Long Island, we're doing a full-day listing, or actually anybody from, if you want to fly in for this, we're going to negotiate discounted rates for the hotel. But Pat, there's a reason why we're going to the website here. I want to show you something. By the way, gang, January 26th, we're doing a full-day workshop. We're having top agent panel, which is right there on the website for those who can see it. And if you can't see it, go to listingworkshop.com. Last year we sold out with 350 people. This year we think we're going to hit 500. So any of my power agents, I would love, love, love to see you there if you can make it on that date of January 26th. So and we're having a discount on the prices. They're going to go up after the first 100 people sign up. So, get your seat. Now, Pat, here's what I want to show you. If you looking at this website, there's a place that says what you'll receive. That's not too important for you, but what you will learn. One of the things you want to do is have a great title, and you want to have great benefits for why people should come, right? So, let's say, are you focusing on rental people that are renting? Because you said something about apartment building. Pat, are you still with me? Huh. Gang, can you hear me? Hang on one second. Let's make sure you can all still hear me.
For me,
all right, gang.
Hearing you fine.
I am at the studio office in Brooklyn.
Can you still hear me? Thank you, Ilaria. Appreciate that. Great job, Ilaria. All right, so Pat, are you still with me, or did you get lost? Okay, so we might have lost Pat. So let me just go through this. So, gang, if
Sorry
you
about
are,
that.
that's okay, Pat. So, if you're doing this, are you doing this for apartment complex renters?
Yeah.
All right. So the title, if that's your audience, you want to focus on that, right? So it might be how to stop making your landlord rich and become rich yourself, or how to. You could use American Dream that has, you could use that. How to get into the American Dream, how to own your first home. So think of a really good title that you like. I like this, Stop Making Your Landlord Rich. I like that one because it creates a sense of pain too, that people will act on. Then you want to address what are they going to learn in this seminar. Now, if you look at my listing workshop, there's bullets, and it says what you will learn: how to deliver a powerful listing conversation for FSBOs expireds, how to get 50% of the FSBOs to call you back, the best source of finding FSBOs, how to list 7 out of 10. So there's really clear, concrete, like here's what we promise and guarantee you're going to learn this. So I want you to start to think of things like, what is the current mortgage interest rate, or how to find the best loan. How much money do you need? How to buy a house with little money down. So things that people are going to say, oh, I want to learn that. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
So make sure you have a good promotional flyer. It should have photos on there. You should have guest speakers like a mortgage person, title company perhaps, home inspector, things so that way the burden is not on you doing the entire seminar. You should have each one of these guest speakers be on the flyer, the promotional piece that you're creating. that promotional flyer can be hand-delivered or mailed to that area that you want to promote it to. You and this other agent can do that. I would also call the local papers, tell them that you're doing this, because going into 2018, papers, news, people are always looking for content. And let's see, I would also record it just so you have it for yourself. The guest speakers, they could actually help offset the cost. You know, you charge the lawyer, you know, $500 to the title company and the home inspector. So you should have 4, because if you have 4 and they take 15 minutes each, that's an hour. And then if you do the first 15 minutes and you do the last 15 minutes to close it up. You should also have entry cards to a raffle. One of your sponsors should have a color TV that they're going to donate. Color TVs are so cheap nowadays. And you put that in the advertisement saying that there's going to be a raffle for a color TV. Let me see here. I wonder if I have it. I'm going to see if I can show you something here. Power tabs, prospecting. I know we have this somewhere. Seminar. I'm not going to find it. It's going to take too long. Here, sample seminar flyer. This is. Can you? Nope, that's not. Well, this is a good one too. Pat, can you see this flyer that's on my screen? Yeah. So you'll see what she did, which was good. Women investing in real estate. She has the bullets, the ins and outs of the rental business. There's the date. She has her photo. But that's not the one that I want to try and show you. And I know we did this in last month's magazine. I'm almost positive we have it in the last, and you know what, it may be in self-promotion. See, once we get this on the website, it'll be easier to search this stuff. Oh, there, it's going to be in here. Seminar flyers. That's not it. That's not it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do, Pat, is if you were to look in last month's magazine, 99% positive that there's a sample seminar flyer, and if it's not, it'll be in the previous month magazine, okay?
Okay.
Because if you promote, hey, we're going to have a free, we're raffling off a free TV. When people come to your seminar, first of all, the TV is going to be a hook too, right? And when they come, they fill out a guest registration card, name and address and phone number. Have you thought about buying? If you were going to move, where would you move to? So it have like 3 or 4 qualifying questions. That card that they fill out is going to be the raffle card for the TV. So everybody has to fill it out completely in order to be entered into a raffle. So when you get all these people, and you're also going to capture all the leads, right? So if I were to, basically wrap up or summarize what you want to do, like put it into categories, number 1 is you want to have a good promotional seminar with bullets and highlights and great title. That's the first thing. The second thing is you got to get the word out. So look at all of the different places that you can get the word out, whether it's mailings, whether it's advertising, whether it's Facebook. And by the way, community groups where you're going to be pulling from, you should make a notice there. And if you have a great flyer, that could be what you post is a copy of the flyer in the group. So you want that, and then when they come, you want to capture those leads, have a good, valuable seminar, and the third thing is you got to follow up. Did this help you, Pat?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, great. Next person who has, Pat, do me a favor, just hit *6 again. That's going to put you back on mute. Who else has a question? Come on, I'm talking a mile a minute here to try and get everything in.
Hi, Darryl. This is Lenore.
Hi, Lenore. How are you?
Good. I have an agent in my office that is fairly new. She's just over a year, and she's been struggling.
Yeah.
And she's basically got one foot in the door and one foot out. She keeps talking about leaving and going to a different office that makes more money. And until she commits, I don't think she's going to make money.
Yeah.
And I just really want some advice on really what to do with her.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're the broker and this is one of your agents, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's here's what's the name of your company?
Coldwell Banker.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's your name again, hon?
Lenore.
Lenore. Here's what you need to first of all, if she's lost trust in you and trust in the company and trust in the office, if she already has 1 foot out the door, it's going to be a bit of a challenge because, she may think any coaching or advice you're giving her is to be self-serving so she doesn't leave you. So that's the challenge that you might have right now. So before I start giving her any advice, I would address that. So if I were to sit down with her, I would say, whatever her name is, Mary, listen, I want you to know that I want to support you in any decision that you make, okay? And I don't have, so I don't, what I'm about to say is not because I want you to stay, all right? I want you to succeed. And if it's not happening for you here, then I support you in making a move somewhere else. But here, so do you get that? So I want her to get that I'm coming from a place about her, not about me. You follow me?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's really important that she gets that before you start giving any kind of advice. Now, also, thank you, George. Lenore, George is one of our power agents. He's on Facebook right now, George Rosario. He's in the Facebook group, and he just sent a text that you should contact him. So if you go into the Facebook group, you'll see George Rosario, Rosario, who's a Coldwell Banker agent. He might have some stuff to help you too. All right, so going back to what I was saying is you want to manage the listening. By the way, gang, when you hear me coaching somebody, you should hear a formula that you can apply in everything. So for example, the advice I gave Lenore so far is not about a broker technique. This is about a communication technique. If you're talking to a homeowner or you're talking to a buyer or you're talking to your children, you have to first frame the listening, how they're going to listen to you and the communication you're going to make. So if you go on a listing appointment and the listening they are is all you care about is a commission, all you care about is taking my listing, you have to shift that listening before you start to talk about how you can help them. Because otherwise they're going to listen through, you just want to close me, and your message is not going to land effectively. So, all right, so Lenore, that's the first thing I would do is let her know what you're committed to in this conversation, and that's to serve her, to help her, and not for you. The next thing I would say is I would ask her, what is she struggling with for her? Why does she think she's not succeeding? And let her share that. The third thing I would do is then explain the distinction about building inventory and the shoe store. Now, Lenore, have you heard me talk about the shoe store?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you have to coach her, like, have you been committed to building a shoe store? Going to another, if you want to open up a McDonald's franchise and it's not working for you, going to Wendy's is not going to help you if you still don't get the concept on how to run a burger store, right? The same or the same thing with cars. Let's say you want to open up a car dealership, and so you open up Chrysler, and all of a sudden no one's coming. Well, that's because you have no cars on the lot. So if you change the vendor, you still need cars in the lot. So, the question is, Mary, this agent's name, have you really been committed to building a shoe store? And because that's all you should be focusing on as a new agent. That's it. You should be knocking on doors. You should be calling FSBOs. You should be calling expireds. You should be calling your friends. You should do everything and anything just to get some listings. And then what you may then want to do, Lenore, is make a promise with her to help her. Perhaps you guys will prospect together, go on appointments together. Let's give this 30 days, Mary. Let's for 30 days see what we can accomplish together. And if it doesn't work, because here's the thing, if it doesn't work for here, it's very possible it's not going to work anywhere else for you if the problem is you haven't been really committed to building your shoe store and prospecting. Does that make sense,
Right.
Lenore?
Yes, it does.
Did this help you at all, darling?
Yes. Yes. I will give that a try.
Okay. All right. Good job, Lenore. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. *6, Lenore, put you back on mute. Don't forget, Lenore, to reach out to George on Facebook there. All right, who else has a question? Star 6, take yourself off mute. Come on, I'm working here. You got me. What do you got? Nothing? Okay. Here's what we're going to do then. You think about it, gang. I'm going to jump to something else. I'm never at a loss for words. So I had some people that have been, we do some one-on-one coaching for some of our students. And let me just go to that. So something came up. We were talking about this. So I'm going to do this with you guys now. So hang on. Let me get this all ready. So for those of you that see my computer, I'm going to be doing a PowerPoint with you. Those of you who are not, you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to see this. Thank you, Ilaria. So Ilaria's got a question, but I'm going to do this now with you, and then I'll go to Ilaria. So those of you that can't see it, I'm going to just tell you what's up on the screen. We're recording this, so you'll be able to see it later, though. Okay, so anyway, self-management is actually time management. So what I want to do is give you some thoughts about how to be more focused and more productive in 2018. And I'm not going to talk about, how to call physicals or do appointments. We talk about that a lot. I want to do something a little different for you about focusing your activities and your time. So if you were to take, our time, let's see if this is working here. If you were to take the number of hours in a week, it comes out to 168 hours. So one of the things you want to do is to budget your time. Now, for example, if you were to take out 168 hours and you put 55 hours towards work, 73 towards your personal life, which would include sleep, and then you've got 40 hours for family. If you were to look at that, that would come out to 160 hours. For some of us, I think the challenge that we have in our business is we act as if there's an infinite amount of hours every day. Like we work until we're tired, and then we go home. And then we feel guilty that we work so hard and we're not really present with our family because we're checking our email. Like, in other words, some of my most productive students are the ones that overcommit. You know how you are, gang, when you're going on vacation? You've got maybe 2 weeks and you're going to go out of town. And most of us, those 2 weeks before the vacation, we're most productive in our real estate business. All of a sudden we get a contract, we get a listing. And here's why, because we're focused on the high priority activities. When we box ourselves in, when we have a lot of commitments, it forces us to do high priority activities versus the low priority activities. I know when I have appointments in the day, I'm more productive than when I don't have those appointments. So if you were to take those 55 hours and make a commitment to a schedule so you stay more focused, you might break it down this way. You may do two 12-hour days, marathon days. You might have 3 days that are 9 hours, and then you'd have one half a day of 4 hours. Now, it doesn't have to be like that, but here's what I really recommend that you do going into 2018 is put together a schedule of the hours that you're going to work and really try and stay committed to it. If you have it on one of those days, let's say you're going to leave at 6 o'clock. You're going to leave the office at 6 or 5 because you want to be home with your family. Well, if it's like 2 o'clock and you made this commitment that you're going to leave the office at 5, you might start looking at your clock and looking at your stuff and say, Jesus, I only got 3 hours left. I haven't done squat today. So what am I going to do right now in the next 3 hours that at least when I leave at 5, I will feel somewhat accomplished for the day? I cannot stress enough how effective it is when you pick a end time of your work each and every day. All right, here's the next thing. Understanding the business cycle of success. Going into 2018, I figured something out, and I've shared this actually a lot with managers in my business seminars. If this was a boulder, we were going to push a boulder up a hill. When you look at the hill and you look at the boulder, you figure out, all right, I got to get this boulder up over the hill. What's my plan? What's my strategy? How am I going to do this? Do I need help? How hard is it going to be? So you're in a state of what I call formulation. You're formulating your plan. You put in 1 unit of energy, you get back 1 in return. The next thing is when you start implementing the plan, you're concentrating your efforts. You're working really, really hard, right? So you might be putting 10 units of energy, getting only 1 back in result. So if you imagine pushing up that boulder, you're working really, really hard, and the boulder's just barely moving. Now you get to the top of the hill, you got some stability, you've made this accomplishment, 5 units of energy is equal to 5 in results, but now when you push the boulder down the hill, you hardly have to touch it. Now you've got some momentum. Now you just 1 unit of energy, 10 in results. It's going rock and roll, and then of course you get to the other side of the hill, you're back to formulation. Now how this applies to 2018 and how this applies to your business and is this. If right now we're at the state of formulation, at that part of the other side of the hill where we're going to say, here's my plan for 2018, here's what I'm going to do, here's the work I'm going to do, this is what I'm committed to, you're going to start implementing your plan. And if part of your plan is to prospect and call FSBOs and expireds and go on appointments and build your shoe store, you're going to put a lot of energy in. You might call 10 FSBOs and get 1 appointment. You may go on 10 appointments and only get 1 listing. And it looks like you're doing a lot of work and very little is happening. But eventually you start to get stability. You start having more effectiveness on the phone. So now you're getting, maybe you're calling 3 FSBOs, you get 1 appointment. And all of a sudden you get a listing. And all of a sudden you get a buyer who wants to see one of your listings. And then you pop a sale. That's stability at the top of the hill. Momentum, well, this is all of a sudden when you have FSBOs that you called 6 months ago and they start calling you back saying, will you list our house now? And this is when we see people are lucky. So you get to this point in your business where it seems lucky, but it's not. It's because you were working so hard those months before. Now, when you get to the other side of the hill, that formulation, you have to reformulate. You got to recommit. So in other words, when you create a business plan and you start to implement, you start to see results, as you go through your career, you're growing as a person, you're growing as an agent, you're going to have to reinvent yourself. Every so often, you've got to now reformulate what you're committed to in the months moving forward, because who you are today is not the same person than you were a few months ago. Now, one last point on this, and the reason why I teach what I'm sharing with you right now is because if I had you off mute, I would ask you the question, where do you think most agents quit? And you probably would all say that state of concentration. When they start pushing the boulder up the hill and they don't see the results and they get frustrated and they take a break and they stop pushing the boulder, what happens when you take a break and you stop pushing that boulder? That boulder goes back down the other side, the wrong side of the hill, and now you got to start all over again. So gang, as you are moving forward in your career in 2018, just keep in mind when it starts to feel tough, that's when, do not stop pushing the boulder. You got to stay committed. You got to just trust the process. Eventually, you're going to hit stability. You're going to hit momentum, but don't give up. And this is why it's so important you have people in your life who support you, that are committed to. This is why you calling in on these calls, being a power agent, all part of the process to help you stay focused. All right. Some of you, what you may want to consider doing is hiring an assistant. Now, I'm not going to talk about hiring an assistant because that is like a whole hour by itself. But I will tell you, if you're at a place where you need to hire an assistant, get ready for your production to go down. Whenever you're looking to hire somebody, train somebody, teach somebody, you're not doing those other activities. Remember, there's only 168 hours in a week. So if you start taking hours away from you prospecting, going on listing appointments to train somebody else, your production is going to go down, so you need to be prepared for that for a short period of time. Create positive habits. You know, going in 2018, we've got to create, like we all have habits. If you think about what's your habit, I got a habit right now. My habit is eating some cookies and milk before I go to bed. That's my sleeping pill, and that hasn't been working too well for me because now it's starting to show. I may have to buy new suits. So I've created a habit. It's just not a very positive one. So I'm going to share this concept with you. When I wrote the Smile book, I learned something about creating habits. We've all heard the expression, it takes 21 days to create a habit. Actually, that's not true. That on a cellular level, our body dies off 1% every day. So 1% of maybe your hair, your skin, your teeth even, it sheds off, it dies off, 1%. So if you do the math, and 100%, who we are as a human being on a cellular level is different. Studies show if you commit to something and you do it for 100 days, on a cellular level, it becomes a new part of who you are. So think about what good habits do you want to do in 2018, commit to it. Now, one of the other things you may want to do is look at what's your top 20% activities that's going to generate the most results for you. Somebody sent me a message. Hang on, I understand. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie sent me a private message. I can't tell you what she said. So look at your top 20%. What's the activities that's going to get you? There's this, we've all heard the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle goes like this: 80% of our business comes from 20% of the activities we do. 80% of the time, we only wear 20% of all the clothes in our closet. So that actually came from an Italian economist by the name of Alfredo Pareto. It was called Pareto's principle originally back in the 18th century. Anyway, this is the 80-20 rule. So what's going to give you the highest return for your time? And by the way, this is why we said when we're going on vacation, that's why we work the hardest those last 2 weeks before we're going to go on vacation. It forces us to work on just those high priority principles. And that's why all of a sudden we get lucky. We have more listings and we have more buyers, we have more sales, because we're not screwing around with the 80% of the non-productive activities. Now, one of the best activities that will get you 80% of your business is prospecting with a purpose. And what I mean by prospecting with a purpose, when you're calling FSBOs expireds, what are you committed to? And most of us, unless you've been a student with me for a while, most agents think, when I prospect for FSBO or advice to get listings. And I know I've talked about the shoe store analogy, but when you're actually making the call and talking to another person, what your purpose should be is to serve them, not sell them, to coach them, not close them, to help them. If you make a commitment to calling FSBOs, expireds, and going on appointments to coach people, to serve people, to help people, you're not going to show up as a salesperson for them. You're going to want to do it more. So to me, that's the purpose, that we're helping people move from point A to point B in their life. What we're doing is helping changing people's lives. So that's the purpose. The Warren Buffett. Whoops, sorry. Hang on. I just had a little problem here. Warren Buffett. I read an article this month about Warren Buffett. He said he uses what's called the top 5 technique. Actually, I don't know if he calls that, but that's what I'm calling it now. What Warren Buffett does is he writes 5 goals that he's committed to. And now he'll write a bunch more than 5, but after he's done with his list, he picks 5, only 5, and he focuses on just those 5. Every day he only works on those 5. He doesn't work on anything else. When he accomplishes one of the 5, he moves on. He pulls one of the other items that didn't make the first cut and puts it on there. So he's always working on 5 things that he's committed to. So there is a suggestion for some of you that'll help you stay more focused. We already talked about the power of monthly goals. I'm telling you, from all my years of training agents, this to me is the most important. Think about what you're committed to accomplishing in December. And if you merge it with Warren Buffett's concept, have 5 things you're committed to that are life-altering, career-altering, attitude-altering. 5 things that would just float your boat, man. You'd be so happy you achieved the next level in your life. And obviously, it has to be small enough that would give you the ability to accomplish it in that month. Use motivational devices. This is a review for a lot of you. I want to get to something else. What's the time here? Okay. The dot board, I've talked about this. If you haven't implemented, make sure you do it. If some of you were toying with this thing, I think we're going to put this on the website for you guys. It's a dot board where you can actually print it out, maybe a Vistaprint, cardstock. But the dot board the concept is helping you stay focused on just listings and working with buyers, and you acknowledge yourself when you accomplish it. When you get a listing, you put up a dot for that month. You get another listing, put up a dot. And what I'm telling you, gang, my power agents who implement the dot board, they get so motivated from it because they can see at a glance how well they're doing. I've seen agents, when I used to manage an office, I had agents get more excited about the damn dot than the actual commission they were going to make from it. So implementing the dot board. Also, it'll help you stay focused. If you are looking at the screen right now on my computer, you'll see that I put up a sample. Let's say January, you got 3 listings, 1 listing sold, 1 buyer. Boy, that's a great January. February, 1 listing. Now let's pretend that it's March, and this is your dot board. You only had 1 listing in February, no sales, and it's already March 15th, let's say. When you look at this dot board, you're like, damn, I started off the year so strong, and February wasn't too good, and March is doing horrible. The dot board really helps you motivate you. If you're slacking, it might give you a kick in the butt. I know that's worked for so many people. Also, the listing inventory chart is something else we're gonna put up there for you guys. But the listing inventory chart is to help keep track of your inventory that's currently available. So implement that this year. All right, let me go on here. Let's see. Schedule time with your family. Think about this in the new year. You know, have your kids make their own goals, their own 30-day goals, their own year goals. Something that I used to do, and I'll probably get back to doing this, is created a family fun list. You know, there's certain activities that we would want to do in my family. The idea here is to, once you do one of the items on this family to-do list, you don't do it again. You have to do one of the other items, so it forces you to get creative with your family. So that's something that we're going to go into 2018 do. Get organized. I'm going to share with you one of the apps that I personally use. Is called Nozbe, N-O-Z-B-E. This is actually not a screenshot of my personal one. This is just a sample of what they had. This is a way to keep you focused on your to-dos. So this is how I use, what I use for my to-do list is Nozbe. And they have an app that you can download on your phone. It synchronizes online, and I've been using it for years. I love it. So you can break your life down into categories, and then you put your tasks in there. But here's the cool thing I love about Nozbe. Let's say you have a bunch of projects. Let's say you have your personal to-dos, you have building listing inventory, working your sales. So if you broke it down, they call them projects. And each project will have tasks. Now, when you star, let's say 1 or 2 tasks out of 10 in each category, there's a separate link there that says next action. It pulls all the items that you start from all your different projects, and that's your to-do list. So it helps you stay focused on touching all of your projects. Pay off your credit card. Some of you may want to do that. I cannot tell you how freeing it is to be debt-free. Now, I'm going to share this with you. I'm just going through. We've got 10 minutes left. Larry, I'm going to come to you in just a second. I taught this to my son when he's a really young kid. If you were to take money and put it into categories, what are the categories that you want to save or put your money? And this is what I try to live by, me personally. My son's been great at this. 50% of your money that you make goes into spending, 20% savings, 20% investing, and 10% whatever faith you have. You know, give back to, if you don't have faith, then you can take that 10% and do whatever the heck you want with it. But I like to give 10% back to God because, you know, I consider him a partner, but he only gets a 10% cut. Well, that's all he asked for in the Bible. All right, now, let me show you something. Now, I'm going to share something personal with you. This is first time I'm sharing this because this has come up with one of my classes that I did in Brooklyn with Fillmore, a great group. I'm going to show you something. So I have a little bit of a knack of investing, and you'll see on the screen my annual return this year in the past 12 months has been almost 28%. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm doing pretty good. Now, everybody's stocks are doing really well, and they have been for actually years. So this could change, but people have been asking me, Darryl, what do you buy? What are your stocks? And so I'm just going to show you and the reason why I'm showing you this, again, because I want you to be financially, you know, sound, and that's the only reason why. These are I only gave you the good ones. All right, there's a couple of stocks that I bought that haven't performed well in a year. And if you want to take a screenshot of this, and you know what I'll do is I'll post. Never mind, I'll just post it on Facebook for you guys. But I do want to tell you what we've been doing is I do want to explain a couple of things. Those are gross money. The only bank that I have is Bank of America. Facebook made a killing with that one. Biotech, I think, is going to be the next, internet thing in 10 years from now. So that's why we're into that. And then Bitcoin, this Hive, Hive, what Hive is actually does Bitcoin mining. So it's a lot safer, and it's really going up. And then we have robotics. The last two are robotics because I think also in 10 years from now, if you get in now, it's going to be huge. So anyway, I'll share that with you guys. I'm really happy and proud of what we've been producing there. I want to show you, I want to motivate you on this, gang. Look at this, because I shared this with my assistant, Sarah, and if you took, and any of you have kids or grandkids, you need to show them this. If you took $100 a month at just getting a 10% return, and you did that for 40 years, so if you take a 25-year-old kid, they do that for 40 years. When they hit 65, they would have saved $637,000. I will post this in Facebook for you so you can print this out for kids, and I'll show you the adult version in a second. If you go $200 a month for 40 years, wow, that would actually, with a 10% interest, that would be $1.2 million. And if we go to the next one here, $200 a month at 15% interest rates for 40 years, that's $6 million. So if you've got a 25-year-old and they start saving money and they get a 15% return, now you saw my stock portfolio, we're getting right now almost 28%. But I didn't want to show you those because those would be unbelievable. Now for the old people on the call, we got less time before we drop dead. So what I did here is if you were to take $500 a month at 15% return on your money and saved it for 20 years, you'd have $750,000. So the reason why I'm just sharing all this for you, gang, is because I want you to get focused on being financially sound in 2018, make some investments, start saving some money, and that's why I wanted to motivate you, okay? Now, I hear a lot of clinging here. Let me just see where we are. Okay, now, Ilaria, let me go to you. So, Ilaria, hit *6, take yourself off mute so I can answer your question, Ilaria. *6 one time, Ilaria.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can now. Gang, we're going to go through Ilaria, and then I'm going to share with you a final thought. So go ahead, Ilaria.
Okay, so I'm calling expires, and what I'm finding is a lot of the expires are from agents of my own brokerage. Now, I have used the analogy about the brokerage being like a car dealership that stocks many different types of cars, and so each car has different advantages, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people, the majority of people in my brokerage are very experienced agents.
Mm-hmm.
So going against people that are 15, 20, 25 years in the business.
Yes.
So I've done well. I've only been in the business for 3 years, as you know.
Yes.
So is there anything else that you can give me that I could use, apart from that analogy, that I can use when I'm approaching people or sellers whose listing has expired with people from my own brokerage?
Okay. Great question, Laurie. So here's what I would do, Laurie, is people will usually list with the person that's in front of them at the time that they're ready to list, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is definitely make sure you follow up these people so you're always in front of them. I would keep showing the value that you have for them, whether it's, obviously, Laurie, there's a fine line between being in front of them and being desperate. Like, you don't want to send out that message that you're begging for their business, right? So one of the things I would do is if you don't get the listing when you meet them for the first time is to make sure, good morning, Tracy, is make sure that you send them, anything of value that might pertain to them as a follow-up to that appointment. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
The second thing is, you'd have to say that real estate is 50% science, and 50% emotion and connection with people. So if the people you're competing with have more years than you, then one of the things I would focus on is the relationship part. And I might use the analogy like this. You know, if you were to be an artist, and real estate's something of an art form, you know, you have the canvas, you have the paints, you have the brushes, and you can buy great quality paint, great quality brushes, and great canvas, but it's the individual painter that creates the masterpiece. Now, the people in my office, we all basically have the same painting tools. You know, we have MLS, we have open houses, we've got our advertising. In other words, we have the paints and the brushes and the canvas. But it's the individual agent that you want to look at. Do you feel connected with them enough, just like an artist doing a painting? And there's different types of paintings, different types of, some people appeal to one type of artist versus another. So Mr. and Mrs. Hanana, as you're making your decision, just know that I have the same tools as everybody else, but do you feel in your heart that you and I working together would be better, that we can create our masterpiece? How is that, Ilaria?
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, gang, I just want, and I'm really proud of Ilaria, how she talked about the cars. Keep always in mind, whenever you're trying to communicate a point with somebody, you want to use metaphors and analogies. And I never used the artist one, so thank you, Ilaria, for making me strong and challenging me. All right, so, all right, gang, well, that's it for this month's call. We got 3 minutes left here. I want to thank everybody for calling in. Now, before you, don't hang up yet. Some of you are like, oh, it's over. No, wait, I'm going to say something now. A couple of things is we have the holidays. I'm going to tell you something. I was thinking about this when I was driving. And regardless of what you celebrate, I used to spend a lot of gifts and toys and stuff when my son was a child. And, you know, he's 21 years old now, and that's not as important. But I started to think what really is important. And sometimes we may put too much focus on the gift giving. I'm not saying not to get into the holiday spirit. As a matter of fact, I'm saying the opposite. I believe the best gift that we can give to anybody in our life is the gift of ourselves, the gift of the talents that we have. So as we go through this holiday this month, ask yourself each and every day, what have I given? What's the gift that I've given to the world today? To my family, to the people I work with, to my buyers, to the sellers, to the uneducated FSBO that's out there that thinks they can save money. I owe it to the world to give the gift of me, because each and every one of you has that in you. You are no accident. You are not an accident. Out of all those swimmers with your parents, you came out because you were designed to contribute something to the world. And you owe it to yourself and to your family to play full out and give the gift of you. So that's it, gang. So I thank you for who you are. Thanks for calling in today. Happy holidays. I will be thinking of you when I celebrate my holiday. And I look forward to talking to you next year. And until then, don't forget to keep smiling. And I'm going to take you all off mute so you can say goodbye. We can hear everybody. Here we go.
Bye, Darryl. Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. New Year.
Bye, Darryl. Merry Christmas.
Goodbye.
Out of all those your parents, you were designed to contribute something to the world.
Oh, so you're like way up.
And you owe it to yourself and to your family.
Like you going to Terrytown.
So that's it.
But you said northeast part. Oh, okay.
He'll be back any minute. He just went up to
No, because she'll be here soon. Actually, I think that might be her. She just drove by. I think that's her pulling in now. So I'll leave it. I don't want her to. No, I am.
Yeah,